guys, welcome to my presentation for today. My name is Thanh Tra Tran, or you guys can call me Chloe. Today I'm going to present about the work that I've done for my Assessment 3, Evidence-Based Practice. Now let's move on to our first slide. In slide 1, we have table of contents. So we will go through 5 main stages together, which include the topic that I have chosen, my PICO questions, document research process, the information that I have found, and finally the reflection on research process. So let's hop on to the first step. Step 1. Choose the topic. Now I have choose topic number 3 out of 6 topics, which is working in construction, is associated with respiratory illness. And the reason that I have chosen this topic was because I recently had this conversation about lung problem with my partner, who spent most of his time working in construction site. And we actually spent more than an hour talking about this topic. So yeah, I found it very interesting to talk about. Step 2. Develop a clinical questions using the PICO framework. So now, after I've already picked the topic that I wanted, I will create a clinical questions using the PICO framework. So we all know that P stands for people or population, and in this case, the P here is construction worker. Secondly, I have chose working in construction for the intervention. And thirdly, the group of people that I've compared with is people who do not work in construction. And the outcome is associated with respiratory illness. Therefore, my clinical questions is, in construction worker, how does working in construction related to respiratory illness compared to those who do not work in construction? Alright, now we have our questions. I will start with step 3, my research process. So here are some key and alternative search terms that I have found based on my questions. And I have here construction worker, engineer, lung disease, dust exposure, respiratory illness, respiratory disease, engineering, respiratory failure, and finally dust inhalation. After I've gathered all of the information that I need, I will go to University of Wollongong Library website. So instead of jumping straight into that search bar, I will actually scroll down. And when I scrolled down, I saw the A to Z database and then I clicked on it. So after that, I come up with this page. And I press on letter M, which is and then I scroll down again, and then I choose Medline with full text. Oh, and the reason that I've chosen Medline is because this database is a reliable source for healthcare related research. Yep. So I press on Medline with full text, then it actually lead me to some search bar like that. And I just pop on my key term like respiratory illness, construction worker, dust exposure, and I have used the boolean operator like the word and. Well, and to be honest, I have a hard time choosing which key term that I'm going to use to put in the search bar. Yep. So before, as you can see before putting in my filter, it actually gave me 53 articles. But after I put my filter in, such as the publication date and all that, it actually gave me 3 results only. And I actually spent quite a lot of time to decide which article that I'm going to go with. But then I'm just going to choose article number 1. So article number 1 is about occupational dust exposure and respiratory protection of migrant interior construction workers in 2 Chinese cities. This article is systematic reviews and was published on the 16th of August 2022 by groups of authors named Chen Ji, Sheng B, Xiao W, and Su M. Now I have to say sorry because I'm not very good at names, but I try my best. And the reason why I picked this article was because it gave me the answer that I needed. Ooh, now we're in step 4. Not long to go. So in this step, this is actually about the information that I have found. So I have found information about construction workers are at an increased risk for work-related illness due to exposure and inhalation of dust. And one more thing is construction workers in China specifically are exposed to harmful dust on the job, which can lead to respiratory illnesses. And finally, we're in step 5, reflect on search process. So in this step, I choose Gibbs reflective cycle to do, and which include description, feelings, evaluation, analysis, conclusion, and action planned. So in description, I found that this assessment was very challenging, especially when choosing the database and the article that I'm going to use. Well, however, the process of making the slide was an amazing experience. I can do as much creative as I want, and I love creativity things. Next, we have feelings. So during the test, the assessment, I felt quite stressed at first because I actually don't know what to do when I started to do this assessment. But like I know after making a plan of what I needed to do, then everything went more smoothly. Yeah. And evaluation. As I said, the article that I have found give me the exact answer that I've asked. And we have analysis. The process of making the slide and made the clinical questions using the PICO framework went quite well. Just the challenge for me was finding the article using alternative key term. I spent I think an hour or more trying to decide which key term that I'm going to use. And conclusion. After this assessment, I feel more confident about transferring a normal questions to a clinical questions using the PICO framework. Then use key term to do my research. And finally, action planned. So from now on, I found out that I can use this skill to do research on everything, not only in clinical settings. And even if it's in clinical setting, for example, if a patient reach out to me and ask me clinical questions, I just go and do some research on these database instead of ChatGPT and Google. This is probably the final part, and thank you for spending your time and listen to my presentation.